3 spiritual meanings when you can't sleep. Sleepless? Then listen to your soul. When insomnia plagues you for several days, and you can rule out physical causes and the usual stress of everyday life, there is only one construction site left that is depriving you of a well-deserved night's rest. Your soul demands your undivided attention. Insomnia is more than just an annoying symptom. Things are already pretty screwed up if you can't get a good night's rest. We'll tell you here why that might be, and what weak points you should inspect your peace of mind for more closely. 1. Your higher self wants to have a conversation with you. It is not exactly the case that the higher powers, first and foremost God and the universe, summon us like to a parent's evening or to a report to the director. Their options to get in touch with us are numerous and also very subtle. However, if angel numbers, synchronicities, natural phenomena, and not even clear omens are of use to get our attention, the creator floor reaches for the sledgehammer method. Several sleepless nights at a stretch are probably preceded by a series of minor accidents, mishaps, or illnesses. Usually these are the last subtle hints that we should claim the wire to our higher self more often. There are clearly important things to be cleared up, and for that we need to short-circuit with God or the universe, preferably quietly and exclusively. We must realize that our creators only want the best. We were not sent into this life to suffer or to get this tragedy over with as quickly as possible. Life is meant to be a celebration for us. However, if we get lost, follow false idols, or stray from the path of our destiny, karmic intervention is indicated. This comes in different forms and, as already mentioned, also in different intensities. If something or someone you cannot see keeps you awake at night, there is a message for you behind this involuntary sleep deprivation. When you are summoned to a conversation with the higher powers in this way, the utmost attention is called for. Be mindful before you do harm. 2. A bad conscience gnaws at you. This reason is obvious, and we all know when it is exactly this circumstance that keeps us up at night. We have said, done, or missed something that was not right. And this something now occupies our conscience so much that we have to lie awake for nights pondering it. Punishment must be, one might now think, of course. But first of all, neither God nor the universe works according to the punishment principle. And secondly, this thinking does no one any good, least of all those people whom we have wronged or harmed. Depending on what we have done wrong, a few all-nighters are a small price to pay. It is also not so much of a matter of admitting our mistake. You have a conscience or you don't. Use this involuntary wakefulness to think of solutions to the dilemma you have already caused. A sincere apology always works and is never wrong. If you can do damage control, don't hesitate. There is almost nothing in the interpersonal sphere that you can't at least make up for in one way or another. Your situation only becomes critical when you find yourself at a point of no return. Sometimes we actually manage to maneuver ourselves into situations that seem hopeless. For this, some religious currents would have invented doing penance. But of course, it is no longer of any use for people to flagellate themselves inwardly for their selfishness, greed, or the blind rage that led us to this impasse. Regrettably, repentance is the only option we have left when it is too late to apologize or make amends. 3. Too much negative energy built up inside or around you. The number one sleep killer is stress. This has many faces, and not all of them we can see, hear, or consciously perceive. If you have to face the daily grind, juggle family and work, and then perhaps lead a social life full of other obligations, you can quickly find yourself out of breath. But there's another factor that robs us of sleep that we shouldn't underestimate. It adds up to a fog of negative energy that is soundless and odorless, yet inexorably makes its way into our lives. It is composed of strife, resentment, dissatisfaction, frustration, envy, and constant comparison with others. It feeds on bad moods and flourishes wherever unhappiness and discontent have taken up permanent residence. You may not have noticed this cloud brewing around you. We humans can endure a lot of negativity until at some point, the point is reached where it becomes too much for us. Especially problems in partnerships or family, but also stressful situations at work take a lot more out of us psychologically and emotionally than we admit. We cannot escape these areas, and the only way out is fight or flight. We shy away from both, or at least don't want to admit it until we sink into this killer wave of negative energy. Insomnia can sometimes simply mean that we finally have to make long overdue decisions. Wide awake through the night. Our bodies are designed to be able to regenerate for about 6 to 8 hours every night. Our mind, our psyche, and last but not least, our entire emotional life also need these nightly breaks on a regular basis in order to be able to work trouble-free and function in our favor. Since we humans are much more than just the sum of our parts, our spiritual feeling also plays an important role. The best training or nutrition program is of no use if we have nowhere to go with our thoughts and our longing. We need spirituality, even if it is only rudimentary, as urgently as oxygen, water, or food. If the metaphysical has too little space in our lives, this deficit can also manifest itself in the form of insomnia.